Well, it seems like things are feeling good for both of us right now.
They are.
Yay.
They are.
Which leads us to our topic for the day. Children who remember their past lives.
Welcome to another episode of Goddess Hangs.
Episode 23.
Woo! I'm Sadie.
And I'm Juliet.
Obviously. We have a podcast that makes mindset and magic and manifestation and all of that fun woo-woo stuff relatable, fun. What else, Juliet?
And relatable.
We like to approach it all in a lighthearted way with a sense of humor.
Yes, that is what we do. And we are learning alongside with you.
Yes.
So we're so happy you're part of our goddess family, our goddess circle.
Goddesses.
Before we talk about anything, Sadie has cotton candy pink hair today.
Oh, yes.
That needs to be addressed.
I'm finally wearing one of my wigs on the pod.
Just stunning.
It's been a long time coming. It has cute roots. I'll take my hat off for a moment. But
look at the roots.
But like I need to like pluck the hairline and make it look more like real, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Now it's all flattened down. So I'm rocking the hat today because
remember when we all learned about how they would pluck their hairlines and look like eggs?
Oh yeah, I need to do that to my wig. Just kidding.
In the days of yore. I don't
Let's put a flashback of that here.
Oh my gosh. Well, Sadie's looking pretty in pink. She's a bubblegum pop star today.
And I was just telling Julia, I'm really jealous of her overalls. I'm jealous every time I see anyone in cute overalls because as we recently learned, I have extra vertebrae, not one, but two. So I'm too long for overalls. They don't work on my body.
If anybody wants to hand sew some custom overalls for Sadie, she would be beyond thrilled.
They're like for like a snake's body, just like all torso.
Maybe you need like an overall dress.
Well, that when rompers were like the big thing.
I have a hard time with rompers too, though. Yeah. They always ride
I have to
up.
get like an extra large for the length.
Right.
But then obviously my body's not extra large. It was a disaster. I never got to hop on that trend unless it was like strapless so I could have it like low and yeah, pretty much a disaster for me.
Anyways, we're doing some new hair, some new fashion. Just having fun.
Hip and hot.
Hip today. And hot. We have Pink Princess and the Farmer's Daughter.
Yes.
That's the vibe today.
You know, you're just turning more and more into a horse girl because you're leasing a horse now. So last week it was the braids, and this week we've got overalls.
Oh God, I didn't realize I'm doing that. Oh my gosh! So I'm not allowed to lease it yet. I have to take lessons, and I'm learning what everybody in the horse world knows, which is it's hard.
Yeah.
So far so good.
Yeah.
So far so good.
Having fun. What's new with you?
Well, I participated in Sadie's special New Moon in Taurus.
How was that for
spell.
you?
Okay, so me and Victor were going to feed his dog. And as we were doing that, I said, I need to write down some intentions because the spell is happening soon. And it's such a funny sentence to say, like, I'm outsourcing my spell this month. Sadie's going to do it for me, which, might I add, felt great. Like, it felt very bougie.
It's a lot to have to do a spell every 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
To remember for yourself. But for me, since I'm like, it's a lot for me to remember for myself, I was like, what if I become the spell girl and
the spell master?
I do my own along with others and I get paid to do it. And then those people don't have to worry about it every 2 weeks. Because if you want to work with the moon, it's a lot.
I want to make a very cute song for you of like, when you don't have time for a spell, call Sadie Olsen. Like a cute little...
Yes, please. A spell jingle.
Has this ever happened to you?
You forgot it was the full moon. Your little witch hat falls off because you're not a real witch if you forget the full moon.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Never
gosh,
fear.
Darn it.
Sadie's here.
And then I fly in on my broomstick. Can somebody animate this?
I'm going to end up doing it. And I will. Okay, yeah. So I participated, and as I was sitting in, so Sadie sent out this whole thing of, I was very impressed. This was my first, this was my 5 stars, my first spell. And it was like this little like step by step, like set your intentions and all the things. And so I sat with Victor and I was like, well, I feel like the messages I'm getting are like, I just want this is the next 4 weeks, the next 2 weeks.
Okay, so when you're doing a new moon, you can do like the next month until the next new moon, and then the next 6 months, because that's when the moon is in that's when it's a full moon. So it's just the new moon in Taurus, so it returns to Taurus as a full moon in 6 months. So it's like a month and 6 months.
This is why I hire her to do it, because I don't know. So anyways, I sat down and I was like, I just want the next chapter to be like playful and fun and easy, and I want to stop saying phrases like my hard-earned money. I want to say like my easily earned money, like the more fun I have, the money I make kind of stuff. And it was just like joy, ease, play. And then I got the post-spell report. And those were the messages that you got too, and I was like, no way. And I waited until today so I could tell you that we got similar messages about the moon. So
yeah, this was a very fun moon. Some of them are a little more serious. They're like transformation, and you know,
this one was
full
like...
moon in Scorpio was a little rough for me. But then new moon in Taurus, I feel like a brand new woman. So
yeah, full moon in Scorpio was like, you don't want to be you, right? You want to be someone else, don't you? And this one's like, have fun, take a bath.
Yeah, Scorpio like turned me inside out and then back again. And then Taurus was like, wouldn't it be fun if we just rolled around in the grass for a little bit? And I was like, yeah, that does sound fun. And then I giggled.
So I just wanted to say thank you for the wonderful spell experience. And it was so cool just knowing it was all, what time it was happening, and I could like feel it and all that. So that's new. Oh gosh, what else? Oh, this is kind of funny. So I had an Amazon gift card, and I've always wanted a fiddle leaf fig tree because, you know, everyone has one.
Those are the ones you gotta shake them.
So, but I plant sat once and I totally killed it. Like, it's a very temperamental plant.
Yeah,
you can overwater it. You can underwater it. It wants to live in the rainforests of South America. Like
I see people on Instagram shaking them to like, cause they like the wind. Literally, that's like they're like sit and like for like a few minutes every day, just like gently shake.
Oh my gosh, my mom would go around our house, I'm sure she still does, and shake every plant really aggressively, and we'd be like, why are you doing that? She's like, they like to be stimulated. And she said it with a straight face.
You heard it here first.
Stimulate your plants. Talk to them. Stimulate them.
Stimulate your plants.
But anyways, I was like, I can't, my heart will break if I kill this plant.
Yeah.
It's not a cheap plant.
Yeah.
And I cannot deal with the added stress. So I used my Amazon gift card and I bought the most beautiful pretend fiddle fig you've ever seen. And I wish it was taller. So now I'm going to have to get a thing to make it taller.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the whole
you
thing.
Can just kind of hide it in a bigger pot under some.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But there's a TikTok going around, you know, the one that's like, have you ever been in love? Would you like me to describe it to you? Do you know that one?
I've not seen this TikTok.
Oh gosh. Okay, so it's, I guess, from a movie. It has to be. But you'll hear that quote, but the text on top of it will be, have you ever owned a fiddle leaf fig tree? And then the person goes, no. And then it's like, would you like me to describe it to you? And then you see like there's this like violin music, and you see like this full plant, and then you see the plant starts to look a little less happy, and then you see like the leaves are dropping to the ground, and then it's just like a twig with like 2 leaves at the end. And I was like, this is why we got a fake one. And I don't like fake plants, but I was like, I can't kill the real one. So that's the completely unexciting news that's new with me.
Fake fiddle leaf.
And I'll put a picture of it here, and I'll link it below. It is not affiliated in any way, but it's very nice if you want one.
We all just get fake fiddle leaf.
Mine is the 5-foot tree, but I should have gotten the 6-foot because they cost the same. I guess I could exchange it, but I don't want to deal with sending it back.
It's a big thing to exchange. Yeah. Did it come, like, did you have to put it together? Or did it come as like a full 5-foot fiddle?
It came as like all the branches, you know, like when you have like a fake Christmas tree, all the leaves are up,
pull them down.
So you have to shape it, and then they give you like a little bag of peat moss to put around the pot.
love it. I can't wait to see it.
So that's
I
the
want
fiddle.
one, but Craig is such the plant guy. I don't think he would ever allow it. But I wonder if I just got it when he wasn't here. Maybe I should order it now so it gets here. He's gone for the weekend.
It's so
if
pretty.
you would ever notice it, he would try and take care of it, but he,
I wonder how long he would water it.
Make sure you shake it, babe.
My favorite thing is when, this is gonna make me sound evil. It's not an evil thing. It's out of kindness. When people are just very wrong about something, but like,
oh yeah, you just let
them have it.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
like, oh my God, like when this person, sang at the Grammys last year, and I'm like, just let them have it.
Like that was actually the Super Bowl.
Right. So anyways, got a fake plant, rode on a horse. If anything else comes to me, I will let you know.
Still have your master class available.
Yes, singer-songwriter masterclass is on sale until the 17th, and then the price goes up. So it's an awesome 1-hour masterclass video. You get the ins and outs. It's like the map of the industry. If you ever wanted to be a singer-songwriter, make it as a singer-songwriter. There's sections on writing, but it's not so much about like how to write a song, because there's a million classes about that. It's like how to do well in the industry as an independent entity. So it's really special. And please message me if you have any questions to find out if you're the right fit for it or it's the right fit for you, because I want you to be so excited about it if you feel called and want to do it. So yeah, JulietPiperMusic.com.
And we are releasing our Goddess Hangs handbook. I feel like by the time this episode is out, it'll be ready, right? Maybe we'll release it on this day.
Oh my gosh.
That'll be fun. Like release an episode in a handbook.
Yes.
Let's do it. Wow. Today for the first time.
Dun 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 dun.
Goddess Hangs handbook.
Has this ever happened to you?
You're like, gosh, I wish I felt like a goddess, but I don't know how.
I wish I did the rituals that Juliet and Sadie do all the time. How could I ever get my hands on the step-by-step process of what they do?
Have we got a deal for you?
This handbook. This panda book. This ham.
This booklet.
I don't eat ham.
It's
booklet.
A digital book. It's not a real book. It's not
so you get it immediately. You don't have to wait for it in the mail.
Yes. And it's like the best of both worlds. My favorite things to teach about, Juliet's favorite things to teach about. It's like, think of it as like an hors d'oeuvre to our bigger courses. So if you want to dabble in what we both offer, you're going to want to get the booklet. And I don't even want to say it's like an hors d'oeuvre, because I was
gonna say it's pretty filling.
It's a very filling hors d'oeuvre. You probably would get the hors d'oeuvre and then like share a meal with your friend.
I like how far this analogy is going.
It got away from me. I don't know where I'm going. What I'm trying to say. Okay, what's in it? So I put a love spell in it.
A love spell.
A money spell in it.
A money spell.
How to witchy ways to protect your energy. Cleanse your energy and like your space.
Yes.
What else did I?
There's new moon and full moon.
New moon, full moon.
And we're not talking just like, here's the little paragraph of what I say on a new moon. Like this is a full page.
A full page. Some of them are 2 pages. There's in depth, and it's really cool. And then what's the stuff you added? I
added, we did a whole thing on manifestation.
Yes.
A whole thing on embodiment, quantum leaping, self-care, self-love, stuff for artists, like to get unstuck as an artist, like overcome writer's block, like creative ease and flow.
There's a lot of
stuff.
Right now I'm like, oh shit, did we put too much in there? No, we didn't. We put the perfect amount. So that's really exciting.
And at the end there's did you see the collage I made?
No.
Oh, there's a collage at the end.
It's worth the price alone just for the collage.
And you can print out the collage and put it on your wall.
Yes, you could print out this booklet if you do like having like physical things.
Oh my God.
It's very cute. It's very
so cute.
Aesthetic. yeah, we can't wait for you guys to purchase it and let us know what you think and ask us questions about it. And I know for my courses, if you have the handbook, I'm gonna give you discounts on my courses.
I love that.
Because you get like a little taste of them. You're gonna want the whole pie. So I'm gonna give you a little treat when those come around. So whoever buys the handbook, when I launch new things, you'll get a special discount code only for Goddess Handbook.
I love it. You're gonna love it. Like I was really going through and I thought this is the most informative, in-depth thing that we could have put together about so many different things, and it has some fun pictures. It's cute. You'll love it.
Yeah,
you'll love it.
Excited.
It's gonna be great. We're gonna figure out the logistics of where to put it up for sale today. But when you watch it, it'll be all set.
We'll have a link below. It'll be a link in our bio. Everything is figured out when you're watching this. But as we're saying it, it is not.
It is not figured out.
But it is created. It is done.
Oh, I can't wait to show you the collage.
I can't wait to see it.
Oh my God. It looks like...
Wait, should we put the collage here to show people a treat from it?
Yeah.
The collage is here.
Do you love it?
Oh my God, I love it. This is the first time I'm seeing it.
They're like, how did they do that? You'll love it though. It's really cute.
I'm so excited.
So it's great. It's super great. I'm just thrilled about it. I've been thrilled about it for a long time. So.
Yes, we thought of this up a while ago, and it's exciting that it's finally manifested into a physical reality.
A physical digital reality.
A physical digital reality. Technically,
you can't touch
we
it.
only made it into the 2D, but you yourself can bring it into the 3D by printing it off.
You can't touch it, but it will touch you.
I love it.
So that's what's new with us. These are big things.
I have more new things.
Oh my God. Okay, go.
Well, I once started offering custom spells. So I am taking on my first 5 clients at a lower price. So I'm kind of working out the logistics with them. But basically it's going to include a reading, a custom spell, and then follow-up. So you have like a little bit of one-on-one mentorship with me.
Oh my God.
So I do a reading for you to tap into your energy, and from there I like create the custom spell. I do the spell for you. You get the spell report, but instead of, it being a group spell, it's like all about you and specifically what you need. And then basically from there I'm going to be able to offer up like exercises and journaling prompts and stuff specifically for you to sort of activate and push that spell into like really manifesting for you.
How spellbinding.
That's really fun. Spellbinding. And then I am launching, well, it'll have launched already, a basic witch mini course because my DMs are always full of questions from you guys of like, where do I even begin? What books should I buy? What should I do? How do I know where to learn from? And I was like, Sadie, duh, you've already created this I have like bonuses for my bigger courses that are like everyday magic and money spells. And I was like, just make that into a mini course for the people that just want to learn the magic stuff.
This is brilliant.
So I'm calling it Basic Witch Mini Course or Basic Witch Masterclass. I something like that, because it's like the witch basics. And so it's an introduction to magic. So if you feel like you're super interested in witchcraft and you don't know where to start, I'm your girl. I got you. Start with this course. And the exciting thing is that I'm going to keep adding to it over time. So right now it's starting out as everyday magic, which is how to incorporate magic into your everyday life, and money spells. And so it's going to be a pretty low price to start out with, and then you get to have access forever. So if you buy it now, you pay the low price, but in the future I'm going to be adding love spells. I'm going to be adding whatever you guys ask me for. It's going to keep like growing as a course. And you don't have to pay more to get more stuff. So you're going to want to buy it now before I add more stuff and the price goes up, even though it'll be totally worth it. And if you buy the Goddess Hangs Handbook, you do get a discount because there's a little bit of overlap.
This is just a day of delights.
Yep. So Basic Witch is coming out. Goddess Handbook is coming out. I'm doing custom spells. So you can reach out to me if you're interested in learning more about that. It's all very fun. I feel like I'm just new moon in Taurus gave me all these fun ideas that actually feel fun to me to do.
I love that. I love that.
Sometimes you're like, when you own your business, you're like, "Ugh, what do I need to do next, or what's the next thing?" And if you don't feel inspired, you kind of get into this funky space. And that's how I was feeling. I was like, I don't even know what I want to offer. Like, I want it to only feel good to me, otherwise it's not the right thing. And it finally all like rushed in, and I was like, oh, I could do spells for people. I could do this.
Yeah.
I was answering like 3 different people's DMs about intro to witchcraft type stuff. And I was like, Sadie, you already have created these resources. Why is this not a separate course? So
I'm seeing people like lining up around the block to get into that, by the way. I think that's going to do really well.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And I also have a vision that all of my basic witch babes, we're going to have like every few months, we're going to do like a coven meeting and do a spell together on Zoom or something.
Ooh,
I think that'd be fun.
The fun like, continues.
Email you, a few weeks in advance, like what to get, and then we'll come together and like create a spell together, because your energy is more powerful together, as you experience with the group spell. So yes. I have lots of fun ideas for the basic witch course. I'm excited.
I love it.
Yeah.
Every time Sadie gets on an inspired roll, then I get on an inspired roll. So I'm always happy when Sadie's like uplifted, because I'm like, ooh, me next. It tends to work that way.
We cycle through it. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah. I think that, I don't know, that's most of my new stuff. I've been working a lot because
I'm like, and I bought a fake plant.
Well, I finally figured out how to focus. You know, I've been having so much trouble focusing since I had COVID, especially.
Oof.
Well, I was really stuck in that, like, I thought like I had to do my morning routine first, and that's what was the best thing for me, and then do work. And then one morning I had to do something. I don't know, I wanted to get something done earlier, so I just went straight to working. And I got like, boom, so much. I got my entire day's work done in like 2 hours. And it was only like 11 a.m. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have any more work to do today. You know, like I plan out my week. And I was like, oh, I can concentrate first thing in the morning. Like, I was wasting that concentration on my morning routine. But then I went and did my routine, and I felt fabulous. And then I had a great day, so I swapped it. I wake up and I immediately meditate, and then I do my work, and then I do my morning routine, but it's in the afternoon now.
Afternoon routine.
It's my afternoon routine, and then I can usually end up getting like a teensy bit more work done after that again. But I'm just like pumping out stuff now. I just work first thing in the morning. I was like, Sadie, you got stuck in your... I insisted that this was the way to do something.
Right.
Because it felt like that was the right way to do it. And I feel like that people talk about, they're like, you gotta get up and you gotta do this, this, and this, and this before you start your day. That doesn't work for me.
It never worked for me.
But I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do that. Because I love my routine that I do every day, but I just had to swap it, and everything worked out fine.
I love that.
So, hot tip, try and switch it up if you're having trouble.
I think so many of us, like
routine.
Like you're saying, we get caught in this like, well, these are the hours I should be working. Like I should finish everything by 5, and I should get started at 9. And like, I find that up until about 1 p.m. I don't want to do any work.
Yeah.
And then I'll do a little bit, and then I'll do other stuff, and then right around 8 p.m. that's when I want to do the most work. So instead of fighting that, I just work with it now.
Yeah. And it's brilliant.
I like working at night.
I like working first thing in the morning. And so I've been working a lot because I'm going to New York City.
When is that happening? Start spreading the news.
I'm leaving next week.
Oh, wait, you told me this.
I wanna be a part of it.
Ooh, Sadie.
New York.
New York. I left you hanging. I was so moved by your voice, I was speechless.
Nailed it. I used to dance and sing to that song over and over and over again when I was a little kid, because it was on one of my dad's party CDs. But it was like
I did too.
It was like 80s music, and then there was this Frank Sinatra's New York song, and it was so weird that it was on that CD. I loved it.
I did too.
I was always going like this.
If I can make it there, I'll make it. Bum, bum, anywhere, it's up to you.
New York,
New York. Bottom. All right, so you're going to New York.
I'm going to sing that in the streets. Well, actually, okay, it's really cool. So let me explain. First, I'm going to Appleton, Wisconsin.
Appleton.
Which is 2 hours from where I grew up. So I get to see my family.
Yay.
Because Craig booked his tour there, his shows. I was like, what's the word? He booked shows there.
His laugh events.
His laugh events, his laugh parties. He's dealing laughs. So I have been planning for a while to go to the East Coast with him because he's doing a bunch of shows on the East Coast and his birthday is in the mix of it and he didn't want to be alone on his birthday and I was like, hell yeah, I'll go. But then right before it, he last minute booked Appleton. So I feel like it's gonna be really cool. Like first I'm going to Appleton and then I'm going to Philadelphia and then I'm going to New York City. And then my childhood BFF lives in New York City. So Craig's going to continue on his tour. He goes to Washington, D.C. next, which I've never been there, but my BFF lives in NYC. So I'm going to stay there with her for Memorial Day weekend and then stay with her for like almost a full week. So I'm so excited because I get to see my family. I get to see my childhood best friend. I get to travel with Craig on his birthday. I've never been to Philadelphia, so that's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see that cracked bell. And that's in Philadelphia, right? The Liberty Bell?
I think so. Comment below. I also noticed we're wearing like the exact same bracelets today.
God, we are.
The golden hematite and the Larabar, and I have an added.
I realized I was going like this. You can't see them.
There
in the
it is.
At all. There.
Oh, you're gonna have so much fun. I'm doing a little one-night trip. One-night trip with my family.
If you're not watching the video, I was just doing the little robot arm thing. Just saw it in there and felt like I wanted to do it.
You should come watch
this.
Whoa!
Gonna want to watch the video on this. We'll clip that out.
Yes. Oh, on Saturday night.
Where are you going?
Oh, on Monday to Tuesday.
Yeah.
I will be.
I feel like we're so distracted talking to each other.
I know. I'll be in La Jolla.
Ooh, what are you doing there? Just for fun?
Just for fun. My mom wanted the four of us to like do something because we haven't done anything in almost 2 years. So I shouldn't say almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So we're doing the one big whopping Piper vacation, one big night. It's gonna be fun.
Love it.
I'm gonna see some sea lions.
Oh,
I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah. That's
my happy
exciting.
place, seeing all the sea lions.
And what were you gonna say about Saturday?
Oh, I'll tell you later.
It's not for you guys. It's just for me. I'm actually excited. This Saturday, I'm having I have a group of girls that are from Wisconsin that all live in LA, and we all used to work at Urban Outfitters together. It's very bizarre that we all ended up here.
Whoa.
It's my first retail job, and I worked there for like 4.5 years, and I started as a sales associate and ended as like the manager of the biggest department, the women's department. It was pretty cool.
Naturally.
And we all worked there together, and then we all ended up moving to LA. So anyways, I never see them anymore because they live far away, and we don't have a podcast together or anything. That's why I see Juliet.
Thank God.
And so Craig's gone this weekend, and I've had this dream. There's this Mexican restaurant over here called Calaveras that always is busy, and I have this dream of sitting outside there and drinking margaritas and getting drunk during the day by the ocean. This is a dream of mine. I just think that sounds fun.
Very Taurus, new moon vibes.
That's true. It perfectly aligned. So I was like, Craig's gone this weekend. You guys want to come over? But we planned this like a month ago. I was like, cite this on your calendars. Craig is, not that Craig cares, but they are all obviously going to stay here because we're going to be drinking. So it's like, it'll be easier if Craig's gone.
Yes.
He doesn't have to deal with 4 drunk girls. You'd have fun. So I'm excited because I'm going to have a little party over here with my Wisconsin Urban Outfitters friends.
Wisconsin Outfitters.
They're going to come. We're going to go get margaritas. We're going to go to the beach. It's going to be super fun.
I love that.
Little party. I'm very busy these next few.
Amazing. Oh, I'm glad you could pencil us in today. Yay.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like things are feeling good for both of us right now.
They are.
Yay.
They are.
Which leads us to our topic for the day. Children who remember their past lives.
Seem like a weird topic? We know. But we went down a YouTube hole and we have to talk about it.
I went down this hole with my friend. That sounds weird. My friend
I went down this hole with my
Irene and I, a friend of the podcast, we went to lunch together a few weeks ago and we started talking about this. And then she had to go take her car in to get looked at or something. And I was like, can I follow you to the car place and we could sit in the parking lot and talk about it more? And she's like, please. So that's what we did. And so we spent a collective 2 hours talking about all this and getting so many chills and so many shivers.
God.
And it has been my YouTube obsession ever since.
Yes.
And it just felt like this was a fun play that you guys would like it.
I also want to do another episode about so I tried to text it to you, but it didn't send. I didn't realize because I was doing it from my computer. But after I was watching the children's past lives that you sent me, then I got pushed onto people who have experienced near-death experiences. So we have to do an episode with that too.
Okay, yes.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're all wildly similar.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting.
Yeah. So I made some small notes so we wouldn't forget to talk about the most interesting children.
Okay. So what I'll start by saying is there's a psychiatrist or a psychologist with whose name
I did not write down.
might have been Taylor.
John Taylor?
Something like that. Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Oh, I can find the email you sent me. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. From home improvement to child psychology.
Oh, yeah. I emailed. Oh, I guess I could pull it up. Well, no, my phone's recording.
I'm doing it. You talk.
Okay.
And I got it.
Here it is. His name is
Jim B. Tucker. Actually, Jonathan Taylor Thomas does kind of sound like that, but he's psychiatrist Jim B. Tucker.
Okay.
Jim. We'll call him Dr. Jim.
Doc Jim. Doc Jimmy. He studies this, and he was saying that it's very common for this to occur in children between the ages of 3 and 6. That's the most likely time this is going to happen. And then after that, it sort of starts to fade away and shut off, and they don't talk about it so much.
What I found interesting about this is that so I learned, and I actually teach this in my course when we learn about the subconscious mind, is that our subconscious mind is 7 years old. It develops from the age of 0 to 7. So we haven't decided our rules for our world yet, basically. Our subconscious mind kind of creates these. That's why we have to look at our subconscious and break through limiting beliefs and stuff, because our subconscious mind from 0 to 7 is looking around at our world and forming oh, this is the way the world works, basically. So once that door closes, children can't remember anymore because it's not like a thing in front of them, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I found that really interesting. It's definitely correlated, I feel like.
Oh,
absolutely. Even though they didn't
absolutely.
talk about that, but I was like, oh.
We have scientifically just declared that there's a correlation. It makes complete sense.
Doc Jim, call us. We have something to talk about.
Doc Jimmy.
Have we got a realization for you?
You need to add this
Jimmy
to your
boy.
essay immediately.
He's the disrespect of these women.
Come on, Jimbo, give us a call. No, we're promoting you. Okay. So we think what you do is amazing, and we're here to talk about it.
Yeah.
So there's that window of time. Some of the things I listened to were kids as young as 2.
Yeah, I think the extended is 2 to 8, but most commonly between 3 and 5.
Yeah.
3 and 6.
3 to 6. What else did I write there?
Okay, well, I was going to say one example of someone that I actually have heard, a child.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay, so I feel like I've talked about this before. Maybe when we had Tiffany on and we were talking about past lives. But my friend, well, I won't say their names just in case they're like, come on, Sadie. But okay, so my friend in high school,
We'll call her Bernice.
Bernice. I have no friends Bernice, so that's a great code name. My friend Bernice, her mom had another kid when we were in high school, so he was like way younger than us. And he would say the creepiest things. And I remember specifically one time he was like, one time when I was a girl and I got ran over by a car. And I don't remember the rest of that story. Like, I think we all kind of were just like, what? And like cut him off. But he was like, and he would always talk about like when I was a girl. So he had memories from when he was a girl, and he was killed by a car when he was little. Like,
wow.
he didn't grow up. He's always saying when I was a girl, and like they'd always be like, hey, like, no, you're a boy, like you're here now, and like, and I don't think we really like recognize that that's what was going on. We just thought it was a creepy thing for a kid to say, but but now I'm like, oh, definitely, like, why would he was so little. Like, little children don't know that like cars run over kids sometimes. Like, why would he make that up? You know what I mean? Like, they don't have enough references of the world to like come up with being run over by a car and dying. That's weird, and that's not something you would see on TV. So that was one example of like I actually witnessed. That was very interesting.
I knew of a kid, like my mom was friends with this mom and my sister was friends with the daughter, but there was also a brother. And the brother would vividly describe as a little kid, like remembering being born. Which is a different thing, but like he would talk about it like, oh yeah, like when I came out of the dark hole. And it was like, what? Like he had a memory of it. And then I guess eventually he stopped talking about it too. But some of these examples, so we combed through a zillion 30 or so
a handful
YouTube videos, a lot of Oprah videos.
Oprah, and then it was in like 94 was all about past lives. She loved it. I also watched her talk to some people who had past life regression, like adults. I was watching her talk to them, which is what our guest Tiffany does, that we had on. You should listen to her episode if you haven't yet.
Yes, she's brilliant.
But she's a past life regressionist.
She's a quantum healing hypnosis technician is what I call
her. But this was back I think it was 92. Oprah was interviewing, this is off topic, but now I have to talk about these two couples, and the one in a past life in like the 1700s was married to the other one in the different couples. I don't know. And then she knew her husband, but they were friends, but she remembers like she loved her husband in that life, but she always had like a crush on her husband from this life, and she's with, her husband from this life. It was all very interesting. Oprah was all about this stuff back then. Yeah.
I sort of have a feeling that I have not. So people are like, you and I have loved each other for many, many lifetimes. I think this is my first lifetime with Victor, but I know in my heart of hearts that I was always like married to other men or whatever my situation was, and I saw him and it was like too late. Like I always feel like I would see him and be like, that's a lucky person who gets to be with him.
So you knew him, but you didn't get to be with him.
I sort of feel that way, yeah. Because this time around, I'm like, mine. Finally, after 1 million years. So yeah. So what about the kid who
the kids
who believed he was Princess Diana?
Oh my god, this was crazy. Okay, well, and this is what's interesting, because so when we are like reincarnated, you and I both believe in reincarnation.
I do.
So we'll just speak as though this is fact, and if you don't jive with that, that's fine. But we're gonna speak as though this is like fact. So when we reincarnate with like our soul families, and what I've been learning is it's like we also reincarnate like within our lineage. Like my ancestors want me to like do good and do great because they're gonna reincarnate as like my family. And when I do good things now, if I create like generational wealth, for example, I'm doing future me a favor.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so
I love that.
We kind of reincarnate within our like friends and family. Like we're like a soul family.
Wow.
So what I found interesting in many of these examples was that like these kids would have memories from locations nearby. So probably distant relatives. They didn't really say that. And then with this Princess Diana kid, they were in Australia, but they were from England. So they could be distantly related and somehow broken off from the royal family or something. But to me, I was like, whoa, like this wasn't like a kid in... Well, the United States is also a lot of people from England, but like this wasn't like a kid in Argentina or something or wherever. I mean, England frickin' had colonialism all over the globe, so who knows? But
right.
But they said like I think they said like the dad migrated from England, so he was like directly from there.
Okay.
And okay, yeah. So this little boy, so this family lived in Australia, but they were all British. And
he was little. He was like 3 or 4.
He was really little. And Princess Di had died like 17 years previously, or 8 years. It was a while. I don't know. Like it was quite a long time. So there wasn't any like pictures of her around the house. She wasn't really on the TV anymore. You know, it wasn't like so recent where she was still all over the news or anything like that. Like this kid hadn't seen her or learned about her before. They had no reason for it to have like come up in his like short little life. And then they received a gift from somebody, and like the card had a picture of her on it, and he saw it and he goes, "Oh, that's me from when I was a princess."
And the parents were like, "I'm sorry, what?" Can you imagine? Like, I know it's like on one hand, this is very spiritual and cool. On the other hand, I'd be like, what? And he was able to recall
like things that he could not guess or make up. One of them was he said something about I saw my brother John, and so his parents were like, oh, okay, he's just making stuff up because Princess Di didn't have a brother John, or I don't know what the name was. But then they looked it up, and actually she did, but the brother had been born before Princess Diana and had died shortly after childbirth. So like most people don't know about this member of the royal family because they died as a baby before Princess Diana was ever born. And so this kid was basically saying, after I passed away as Princess Diana, I got to see my brother John. And they were like, so at first they were like, oh, so this isn't true. And then they looked it up and they were like, oh my God.
And he was talking about like the boys, like, oh, I had 2 sons and like just knew all these really strange. Was this the one where he was describing like the
Scottish castle?
Like there were like unicorns at the castle, and they're like, this kid is just making stuff up.
Yeah, and then they did some research. They found the exact he called it by the correct name. And then he was describing the unicorns are on the door and like around these certain spots, like very specific details that like why would a little kid couldn't come up with all of that stuff. I mean, he named it correctly, so right there, you know. Like a little kid doesn't know the name of some Scottish castle or whatever. And he was saying he like visited there, vacationed there or something, and it was somewhere Princess Diana had gone, obviously. I mean, like, it has to be true. Or it's some sort of trickster spirit, like, I don't know. But I mean, how does a little kid make all that stuff up? Well, if I was Princess Diana's sons, I would have wanted to go meet that little boy and talk to him.
Right.
Now he probably doesn't remember anything. He like grew out of it, but I bet they didn't know.
There's such like this narrow window of opportunity, and I have a strong feeling I'm going to have a child someday that vividly remembers a past life.
I cannot wait. After I watched this, I was like, I want to have a kid.
So who were you before you were you?
Honey, do you remember anything from your other life?
They're like, no. I'm like, think harder.
Think harder. You have to let it come out naturally, but I can't wait because it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think both of our children will be very clear on who they were.
Yeah. Because we'll know how to like kind of nurture them into like, keeping their third eye open and stuff. So yeah, I watched all these. I was like, I can't wait to have a kid and it say crazy shit.
So the Princess Diana, I just love the part where that little card showed up and, oh, that's me when I was a princess.
Yeah, it's a little boy and goes, oh, that's me when I was a princess. Just
like, oh, that's a dog.
Like it's a normal thing. Yeah,
Yes.
just like matter of factly, like, by the way, when I was a princess.
Bizarre. So that's one case.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
Let's talk about another.
There's the pretty famous one. I wish I would have wrote down the name. We'll link all of these in the bio so you can watch them for yourself. But there was a little girl in India that kept saying how she missed her family.
Yes.
And she was like, oh, I like my husband and my children. I had this many children. We lived there, and it was like nearby. And she remembered her husband's name. She remembered her like the location. She remembered all of these very specific details. And she was a little girl, but she was like, I want to go home. Like, I miss my family. Can you imagine being like, you gave birth and they're like, I miss my family. I want to go home. And you're like, you are home.
Like, I don't live here. This isn't my house.
But then they went, because it was like a neighboring village. So they went there, and I think they had like the parents maybe had been in contact with the person that, because these people were still alive. Like the person she was had only died like 2 years previously or something. And so her husband was still alive, and they were gonna meet, but he was gonna say like he was the husband's brother or something, and she was like, no, you're my husband. Like, she recognized him.
Yes.
She was like, no, and said his name and was like, you're my husband. Like, she remembered. It was a little baby girl. And she was like, you're my husband, to like a grown man, and like, these are my children. Like, she remembered it all.
God, that's got to be so weird.
I keep just imagining if, like, I don't know, like, let's say my neighbor or something's little kid wanted to talk to me, and they were like, I'm your mom.
Right?
I would die. I'd be like, oh my God, I'd want to hang out with that kid constantly.
Right.
My mom wants to be born through me. I already know that, but
duh.
I feel like she's like knocking. She's like, yo, I'm ready to come back as your son. She wants to come back as a little boy.
Oh.
Don't know why, but I have a very strong feeling about that. But yeah, could you imagine?
No.
Or if like Craig died and then like some little kid came over and was like, I'm your boyfriend.
There was another one I watched where it was like this mom was taking the little girl to swim lessons, and the little girl had this like insane immediate connection to the swim teacher and was like, that's my mother, and like kind of detached from her own mom and was like, no, this is my mother. And it was like this thing where then I guess the mother and the swim teacher got in this like altercation about it, and so they stopped seeing her, and the child fell into like a deep depression for months until finally they worked it out and she could be around the swim teacher again, because she was like, no, like, this is my mother.
Oh my God.
Another weird one where it's like, please don't let that happen to me.
Oh my God, I couldn't take it. I have chills. Another interesting one. There were a few kids that remembered being soldiers in various wars.
Yeah.
One of them was able to talk to an artist. This one was on Oprah. Talk to an artist about everything that like they could see. This little boy could see, and the artist was able to like kind of drop this map and like photo or paintings of like the like infirmary and like all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And they were able to like figure out like which like battle it was, I think.
So cool.
And then I think that this was a different, the more interesting one to me was the one where this kid remembered details about being in battle and walking in line, and then he remembers that he got shot in the neck, and that's how he died. And he's like, I remember someone shot and it went through my friend behind me and then went through my neck. And this little boy had throat issues,
Mm-hmm.
He even ended up with like a cyst in his throat that mysteriously went away after a few years. And then there was another one with a different kid that was a soldier that got shot in the head, and he had birthmarks on the back of his head and the front of the head where he remembers the bullet going through, which brings us to birthmarks and past lives.
Yeah.
Do you have any birthmarks that could be something we could try and interpret?
A lot, yeah. I'm all marked up. When I was born, I had, like the hemangioma. It's like that big pink strawberry thing. It's like an excess estrogen, I think. Anyways, it can be anywhere, but mine was big on the back of my head. So I had like this big... So that's why maybe in a past life I was shot in the head.
Oh.
Which I could see that happening because my head always feels very vulnerable. Like I'm always afraid of like...
someone like...
I'm always afraid of like hurting my head, hitting my head. I've got like this weird... I had to move out of a place that I tried moving into because the ceilings felt too low. Even though I wasn't going to hit I was like...
Maybe something fell on you.
Yeah. So I have a big thing here that now it flattened and my hair grew over it. But if I poke at it, it does hurt still after all these years.
Wow.
And then I have like a big thing on my thigh, my leg. And then I have like all sorts of strange things. I mean, they're beautiful and I'm grateful and I love them, but I'm definitely not a clean slate of skin. Do you have anything?
I have a birthmark on my ankle that it kind of looks like Australia. It's a white birthmark, so you only can see it when I'm tan.
Okay.
And it doesn't tan, but it's just kind of looks like a big splatter, but it's like a little bit smaller than my palm. So, I mean, that could just be some sort of injury. I don't know. I don't think I would die unless my my leg got cut off. But I don't have anything on the other side. Although I am weird about my toes.
Oh yeah, Sadie she does not like people touching.
I hate getting pedicures. I do it. I actually got one recently, braved it through.
Oh, it looks nice. See, I love it.
I actually, the lady was like, why did you cut your toenails? Because I can't let other people cut my toenails. So maybe my foot did get cut off. I can't. Well,
maybe you were like shackled around your ankle or something.
Maybe, but I can't. I can't let people cut my toenails. I always cut my toenails before I go get a pedicure.
What if you had gangrene and they had to saw off your foot in that spot?
Maybe. Oh, that gave me a really big... Oof.
Oh.
That must have been what happened.
Yikes.
Yeah, because I like the little birthmark, though. It's over here. I don't know if you can see it.
Let's all look.
I don't think I'm tan enough. You can probably see it a little bit right there.
Okay. I see a peak of it.
I'll show you guys in the summer.
Sadie's... No, I'm kidding. We're not going to insert that.
I have... Again, it only shows when I have a tan, but I get... It's like dark here. I have like... It's not like freckles. It's like the same thing, almost like a splattering mark.
Oh,
but
I have a dark splatter all the way across here.
Okay, it goes like down my chest and like over my... It's kind of just over my chest. I don't know if I got something in the chest or what.
Like a burn, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll compare splatters
My next life,
later.
I'm going to have a big old scar here probably. The birthmark from my big scar.
Yeah.
I don't have anything other than that. I don't have any like... Oh, I have a really weird mole on my head, but I don't know if moles count. It's just bright red and really strange. My hairdressers always go, oh, when I have new ones, I'm like, oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you about a creepy,
oh my God, I want to see
mole. It's not like huge around. It just sticks up a lot.
Either way, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
So do you guys have any strange birthmarks?
Yeah.
And like, do you think it might be...
What could it be?
From like a past life injury or
like
death?
The way you died. Yeah, I think that's so interesting. Birthmarks and then like phobias. I really think phobias are from past life traumas, most likely. I can't even talk about it. I hate broken glass.
Oh.
So something probably happened to me with broken glass. I can't even say it.
Oh wow. Okay.
It makes me want to throw up.
Okay, I'll never bring it up.
Oh my God, I hate it so much. It's not so, and I don't even care about like getting cut or something. Like that doesn't scare me because I like whatever. It's, I think it's like that. It gets you can never like really clean it all up, and it gets like crushed up, and it's not. I don't know. It just freaks me out. So I don't know what happened to me in a past life with that, but I literally get not like I would like start like heaving. I'm like ugh, when I see it.
Okay, noted.
Yeah,
noted. There was one little boy, and I want to say his name was Cameron, but I could be wrong. But his story was that he grew up in Scotland. He was like 4 maybe, and he kept saying like, no, I lived on the island of, and it started with a B.
Yeah,
like
Barra or
Barra, that sounds right.
Something like that.
And he's like, no, I lived in this house and it faced the ocean, and I had
this was the view.
This was the view. This was my name. I had a black and white dog. It was like all these specific things. And so finally the parents were like, well, we should just take him there, and he led them directly to the house, which was the exact house he had described. He knew his way around. I think he met the neighbors who were like, oh yeah, that's who lived there, that was his name and that was his dog, and it was just all this. And I think after that trip he was able to sort of let it go and stop talking about it. There were other details too. There was one little one that I saw where a boy and his father went into like a pub.
Oh my god, that was so funny to me.
And he's like, oh, I used to drink here.
Yeah, this little boy was clearly a regular at this pub, this bar in a past life. I think this was in Scotland too, or somewhere like that. Somewhere over there. Yeah, and he was just like, oh, I love this. This is my favorite place. And he was clearly like one of the old guys that's always there in a
and he was like, yeah, the owner's name was something.
Yeah, and he was my best friend.
And he got the name right. He's like, and there was a fireplace right there.
Yeah.
And the dad's like, honey, there's not a fireplace there. And then they talked to like the owner, the co-owner, and they were like, oh no, there used to be a fireplace right there.
Yeah, and like the bathroom there is like hard to find, and the little boy went
behind like a hidden door or something.
Yeah, it's not a marked door, and it's like behind a thing, and he like went straight to it, and that was the funniest one to me. I was just like, oh my gosh, you like bring your toddler into a pub, and he's like, oh, this is my favorite place. I love this pub. This is where I used to hang out with my buddies.
There were ones where like little girls remembered like dying in a fire, drowning. Like I remembered, trying to get to my parent. It's just all these things. I remember looking up through the water and the bubbles were rising, and there was the bridge, and they, you look through the records of the time they say and the name they say, and it happened.
Yeah.
There was another one where this boy kept saying, it's again with the soldier. He was like, my name was something something, and I flew a plane.
The pilot, yeah.
And this is what the plane's name was. And I think those parents found that person and that name, matched it to the name of the plane, all the details, and then they found that guy's picture and they lined it up with a bunch of other pictures and said, which one was you? And he went immediately. He's like, that one. I was this one.
And then I think he got to talk to the other people in his regiment, right? Or something?
Yes.
Yeah, they like contacted them to ask about the guy and like, was this what he was like and stuff? And they were like, oh yeah, da, da, da. There's all these old guys, and he was like, yeah, I fought with you.
That's so wild. I'm thinking were there any others on your list?
There was, there's 2 good ones. Well, one, there wasn't that many details, but I thought it was really interesting. One little boy remembered being on the Titanic.
Oh, this one scared me.
That one was really sad, actually, because they didn't go into enough detail about it. I feel like it was like a short clip of a longer episode that we found on YouTube, but basically I think the little boy had been having like nightmares about the Titanic and these memories, and so I think they were trying to help him by taking him to like an exhibit with things from the Titanic. They're like, maybe this will offer him some closure or something, and ultimately it did work, but he had like one last really intense night terror of like, I think he was having nightmares, but they weren't like finishing. Like they weren't completing, and he finally, I'm getting chills. He finally had like the night terror of like it happening and him like dying, because his mom walked in and he was like shivering,
And he was screaming like,
shaking,
it's going down.
Yeah, it's going down. And then he was like shivering and screaming. Ooh. And as a parent, that's what she said. She's like, I didn't know what to do because it can be dangerous to wake someone up. But your kid is like freaking out. Like, what would you do? But she said it ended pretty abruptly. But I think after that he was okay. But he had to like finish like the old version of him. That part of his soul needed to like finish have closure with the process or whatever. That was a sad one. He was so traumatized. Seems like a lot of kids remember their traumatic deaths, but they weren't all like that. But a lot of them, which makes sense. Of course, you might carry over some energy from that. A sudden death you weren't expecting to die. Your soul is kind of like, oh shit, we're in a new place.
Oh God, do you want to get the chills?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the stories that I think hit the hardest because it happened in our lifetime is when the little 2-year-olds, are watching Friends with their mom and the Twin Towers come on and they're like, I used to work there.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And the mom's like, what? Irene and I watched or read something on this where it's like, the mom was like, what do you mean? And, oh, well, I had a computer and I had to do something with numbers. And then, like the airplane came through and I had to walk down the stairs and I don't remember anything after that. And it was just like I'm getting such chills. And the mom's like, oh, okay, let's have a snack. But can you imagine like cuddling in bed with your kid and the Twin Towers come on and they're like, oh, I worked there. That's familiar.
And they would have no idea that they ever existed because they're 2.
Right.
You don't teach your 2-year-old about 9/11.
Right. I mean, maybe some people do, but I mean, most people do not. So those are the ones.
Even if you did, your 2-year-old would not retain the information enough to then come up with a story about how they used to work.
Like, yeah, there was a lot of smoke and a lot of people. And it's just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry if this is like triggering or insensitive. It's super not trying to be. It's just more that like,
yeah,
we have been here before, and some of us remember as children what that was like.
I'm curious if like I need to ask my dad if I ever said anything weird when I was a kid. I feel like my mom would remember that more because she would have been more tuned into that kind of stuff because she was kind of into it. But I don't remember my brother Luke, I was little, so I don't remember, like I remember him being born and stuff. I don't have enough clarity because I was like 3.5, but Tommy I was like 9.5 when he was born, but I don't really remember him saying anything weird. Do you remember your sister talking about anything?
She did have an obsession with the Titanic. Like we had a book and she wanted to read that book over and over and watch everything about, I mean, she didn't talk about like that was me, but there was some level of obsession with it. And then the only other thing I can think of with her is from 3 to 6, she was like an entertainer, a performer, a character, like beyond. And then sort of like after that, like she's still a very, very funny, entertaining girl. But in terms of like after that, she no longer had any desire to like put on a show, like doesn't want to be in the spotlight. So I don't know if maybe whoever she was before was like a big like center of attention person. Yeah. But that faded really quickly.
That's interesting because Tommy, my youngest brother, was so obsessed with construction. So I wonder if that was his job in a previous life.
Because I came in until I was 6, terrified, anxious, shy, like would not speak to a soul that wasn't my family. Like just, I couldn't really, even ask the teacher to go to the bathroom. I would pee my pants. Same. And it was like so overwhelming to be like, can I please use the and then after 7 I like shifted into who I am, which is like who I still am today. But I don't know what the heck happened to me in a past, like, because I had really loving parents, so for me to be like afraid to say the littlest thing to anybody, maybe that was some leftover stuff. I don't know.
So interesting. I have a great one to wrap us up unless we think of more. The boy who solved his own murder.
This is a great one.
This was crazy. I mean, I said it right there. This little boy was starting to tell details to his parents, and it ended up being a town close by. So they took him there, and he was able to bring, and it was recent enough that the murderer was still alive. This little boy was able to bring the police to where his old body, I guess. I was like, his other body was
like, it's
buried.
right there.
Yep. So they found this poor kid, but I mean, he was born again, so I guess it's still sad for the original family, but he was alive again. So he was able to point that out, and then he was able to he remembered who murdered him, named him, and pointed him out. And the guy, I think it took a while, but he ultimately confessed. He was like, yeah, I did that. Like,
isn't that wild?
Like, I don't know how anyone could not believe that we don't have past lives, how you could not believe that reincarnation is real, because like, how do you explain that? Like, that little boy was obviously that other little boy or girl, I don't remember, in a past life. And that's just wild, because I think we think of our past lives as like, oh, me in ancient times, me in the 1700s, but like, and I think it just depends. Like, we can spend our time in the in-between. Well, how like Tiffany explained it, is that like, you know, time isn't linear. So we might even kind of, I think, go in and out. Like, my next life might be technically in the past or something, from my understanding. But we might spend a year in Earth time before we reincarnate, or we might spend, you know, a century, because we don't really have like the same time when we're off in spirit world. But it's crazy to me, because I think of my own past lives, and the one I saw was so long ago, so I think of my past lives as like, oh, back, but it's like, I could have been like a adult person in like 1989 and I was born in 1991, or 1990 and I was born in 1991. Because there's just these, you know, the little girl who remembered her husband and children from the village over, this little boy who remembered that he had been murdered, and like they were able to like catch this murderer. That's crazy. Imagine going to prison because you murdered someone, but like that person's alive in a different body. That's insane.
You're like, they'll never catch me. Little did you know,
the person that you murdered caught you. That's so badass. I love that.
You know that person's last thought as their life was ending was like, you won't get away with this.
You won't get away with this.
I'll be back.
If I get murdered, I'll be back for that son of a bitch.
Right?
I'll remember. Yeah, it's so wild. It's so cool.
And I've always, my whole life, if I go to certain places, like, it feels like you've been there. There's a lot of places in like downtown LA for me, and that was sort of like hip happening around the 20s, I would say. Those ballrooms and those hotel lobbies and those certain bars, and you just walk in, and for me it's like I'm like, why do I know? Like, there's just been so many places where, even though I grew up in Los Angeles, Los Angeles is huge. And so there are a million places I haven't even seen yet in the city. But the first time I walked into certain places in downtown, I was like, why do I know this? Like, why was I here at one time? This is oddly familiar. Like, I just love that feeling. I love it.
From such a small town that I can't relate to that specifically, but I really need to do my like DNA ancestry thing, because when I've traveled, I've had such only in certain places, I get like such an overwhelming feeling of connection. And to me, I don't know of any ancestors from like those areas, but I'm curious if it would show up at all in like a DNA kit or whatever. Because like whenever I've gone to Italy a few times, and I could live there. Like, I feel so alive there. I feel so lit up, and like I feel so me there. And I don't speak Italian. I'm not Italian. I don't know why. But like the energy there for me is so insane.
That's why this week's episode is sponsored by Ancestry. No, I'm kidding.
Sponsor us, Past Lives with Ancestry.com.
Discover your past lives. Yeah, that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. So yes, let us know about, one, do you have any memories, or do you know any kids that have said weird stuff?
Like, please DM us.
Has your parent said that you used to say weird stuff, anything like that. 2, we're really curious if you want to share, if you have like birthmarks that you have like ideas about what it could mean. Do you think you got shot or something? Especially if you have like a birthmark that is like on one side and mirrored on the other side, that's a good clue that it's some sort of
we're gonna have to do some
wound.
Inspecting now that I know that.
Julia and I, after this, we just get naked in front of the mirror and figure out where all of our wounds are from. I haven't looked there in a while. No.
Big night.
Yeah, so let us know. I'm super curious.
And also if there's any stories that you've stumbled upon that we didn't mention.
Oh yeah, send us more videos. We love to watch it. We'll definitely link. I have all the ones that I'll just link everything that you sent me.
Oh, perfect.
I have all those ready to go. So those are fun.
Big thank you to Oprah for doing
shout out Oprah
initial
in
research.
1994. She had some good ones. Yeah, that's it for this week, I think.
Yeah, I hope you guys feel a little more like, ooh. That was the intention this week for sure.
Ooh. Yeah, let us know if you have any if it's not past lives, but like any other topics that like we would just think is the coolest and we should research and do an episode over, because we really enjoy these research episodes where we just like watch stuff and read stuff. It's super fun.
Very fun.
So let us know if you have a special request. And don't forget to go buy your Goddess Hangs handbook.
Goddess handbook. Here it is.
Did the wrong arms. Don't forget to buy the Goddess handbook, to sign up for Juliet's singer-songwriter masterclass, to sign up for my basic witch mini course or masterclass. Haven't decided how I'm wording it yet, but my intro to magic course. And we'll see you goddesses next week.
Follow us at Goddess Hangs. I am at Juliet.Piper.
I am Sadie Olson. I think that's it.
Goodbye.
Oh, subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Ding, 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 ding.
Leave us a review.
Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We love you.
We love you.
Good night.
Good night.
Goodbye.